Did she just wave at me? I don't know her, I think, but... Or maybe she's just being friendly to me? Oh, whoops. Oh, it's one of my classmates. Okay, I definitely know that person, and I occasionally talk to them during class. But they're probably waving to someone else, right? Overthinking is something that I, and I'm sure many of you, have the habit of doing. The stories I'm gonna talk about today aren't even really that big of a deal, but my stupid brain in the moment overthinks and makes it a big deal. I had a group project where we had to work on a video outside of class time. I was already nervous because of group work, but I was even more nervous with setting up a meeting outside of class. It was kind of hard to find a time that fit all of our schedules because even one of our group mates went away for the weekend. But when everyone was back, we were texting about when we could meet, and someone suggested a possible time. It was a time that worked for me, and I started to send a reply. But before I even hit send, I looked at what I wrote and thought, is that the right phrase to say? Yeah, it definitely is, right? Wait a second, does even saying sounds good make sense? What if it doesn't and everyone's just confused by my reply? I looked at the message I planned to send over and over again, and it started to look less like actual words, if that makes sense. And I eventually even went online and looked up how to use the phrase sounds good in a sentence before I finally hit send. In a communication class I had taken, we were assigned to group up and work on a presentation for a specific movie we watched in class. My group member asked me if I had happened to start working on the assignment yet, but I had been so busy with other stuff for my other classes that I didn't get a chance to. This happened before the class had started, and when our conversation ended, I started overthinking the whole thing. Okay, they told me that they were all so busy with schoolwork, and the project was just assigned, but are they just trying to be patient, but are actually secretly upset with me for not starting the presentation yet? Am I the annoying person in the group who doesn't contribute a lot? But I really was just super busy. Wait, looking back at other group projects from my other classes, were they also secretly frustrated with me for not contributing enough? So I ended up unnecessarily apologizing to them, but even they were understandably confused and reminded me that we still had plenty of time to finish it. The last thing I want to talk about is overthinking during a quiz or an exam. I had a math class that I really struggled in. I was super nervous for the first quiz since there wasn't any homework graded in the class, so the quizzes and tests were the main thing that contributed to our grade. I studied so much for that first quiz, and I was really worried the night before that I couldn't sleep, so I just tried to review instead. The day of the quiz, I was actually reasonably confident in myself. As I was taking it though, I noticed that 2 of the 5 problems were very similar to some that I practice a lot. When I finished the problem, I started to fill in the bubble since it was multiple choice. Just as a heads up, this is probably like the stupidest decision-making process I ever had during an exam. I looked at the possible answers, and I even saw the answer I had gotten. I looked at the other answers, and there was one that was really close to the one I got, and another that was a weird decimal one. But the last answer was something very different from the other 3, and that's when I thought, there are 2 answers that are very close to each other, so it kind of looks like it could be one of the 2. But the professor probably knew that people weren't too confident for this quiz, so maybe the professor chose these possible answers so that someone who just planned to guess on this problem would think that there's a 50-50 chance of getting it correct, since these 2 are so similar. But there's also a decimal one, but that's obviously not it. So there's probably a good chance that it's this one because it's pretty different from the first 2. So I must have just used the wrong formula for this question. I'm so stupid.